So this weekend there's going to be a bunch of protests across the United States. They're calling it the No Kings protest. People don't like the way that Trump is acting like a dictator. I will be out there. I agree with them. And there's going to be, apparently, from what we hear, a bunch of counter-protesters that are going to try to antagonize the demonstrators and say, look, Democrats are a bunch of criminals. These protesters should all be thrown in jail. I don't think anyone's really going to bite, but that's apparently going to be the thing. And these counter folks who are going to be instigating, from what we hear, are going to be mostly men. Men voted for Donald Trump in the last election by a pretty significant margin. He made a lot of efforts to get men, especially young men, to vote for him and change that dynamic in the past few elections. And one of the things he was talking about was, we're going to make things better for men. We're going to bring back jobs that you want in manufacturing and farming. We're going to lower costs on the things that you buy, like trucks and video games. And the problem with that, though, is the stuff that he is doing actually makes it worse for men. I'll give you an example. These tariff taxes that he's putting in. Remember, a tariff is just a tax on any company that imports something from another country. Those people then put that cost onto you. The biggest example is the Ford F-150, best-selling pickup truck in America for however the hell many years running. Only about 25 or 30% of that truck is actually made here in the U.S. They're all assembled here, but the parts come from other places. A lot of the engines come from Mexico. The wiring harness comes from China. The airbags come from Sweden. A bunch of the steel parts come from Canada. And when prices get raised on Ford for having to bring those things from other places, then they pass the cost on to you. Now, the argument is that this raises the cost for everyone. So all you boys out there that want to buy a truck, costs are going to go up here in a little bit. But that it would bring jobs back to the U.S. because it would make it more advantageous for these companies to bring their factories back to the U.S. That's not what we're seeing. Only about 10% of companies so far have what they called reshored, so brought stuff back to the U.S. A lot of people are saying, hey, look, it's just still cheaper for us to produce these in other places. We're actually going to put more of our stuff outside of the U.S. And that's a problem because jobs aren't coming back. And the ones that they are bringing back, the factory jobs, are mostly being taken up by robots. There's a lot of new robots coming in that are taking the jobs of people, right? So fellas, if you're going out to these protests to try to instigate other people, just do some thinking. Manufacturing jobs in this country are down since Trump got elected. They have not gone up. They've not stayed even. They have gone down. What he's doing is not good for us. And I just hope you think about that before we get into these situations on the weekend. Thanks, everybody.